Well, first off, thanks, Ken. I agree with everything you said. So, and
okay, so the next presenter.
yes. And therefore, I'm skipping results, and I'm trying to show you a presentation without a single number in it. I failed for 2 numbers, you will see, but I want to explain basically a little bit of what GGCMI is and where I see where currently there are already interactions across scales and disciplines, and where I see potential for more to fuel the discussion on that. So in the beginning there was AgMIP, and
He can stop, right?
yeah, and then AgMIP came up, and in the friction of the two, GGCMI was created, and well, we started out with a fast track doing future projections of what does climate change do to agriculture productivity. We already had relationships to AgMIP wheat and maize because we share some models that we use in both or in all 3 projects, and we immediately established linkages to the global economists because they were using our data. Yeah, we got lots of products out of these activities, which was very nice, special issue in agriculture economics and in PNS, and recently a paper in URL and some more. And we just recently started an activity with AgMIP wheat, where they are comparing their point-based estimates and the global aggregation from that with the global aggregation from the gridded crop models. And of course, the major achievement is that we have public archives, both the AgMIP archive and the GeoHub archive, where you can have even automatic aggregation to whatever resolution you want. Okay, then phase 1 is actually what we are in now, so that's the historic evaluation, and it basically is a little bit in line with AgMIP 2. Again, we have the shared models with AgMIP wheat and maize, and this activity with AgMIP wheat is still ongoing, but it may also develop a little bit more into generally scaling issues. I left the global economists here because they are our pet friends, and we are always in discussion with them, but there's no real activity going on here. And an important input into the activity is, of course, data from outside, reference data, climate data, management data. And while we've published the protocol, we've just submitted 1 paper yesterday, and there are many more to come. And we hope to establish an open source processing standard and a standard benchmarking for global grid crop models, so that you can remove the minus for the evaluation in your table. Challenges here is, of course, well, reference data, management data at the global scale, and here we heavily depend on regional expertise and regional data. And of course, the question is, which is the appropriate scale for what research question. Then phase 2 is what we are about to start. So here we learn a lot from C3MP, sorry. So many maps. This is a pretty lonely activity because the objective of it is a major understanding and improvement of our modeling capacities. The only product that we've actively discussed is we want to generate emulators that maybe the global economists could use in their models. And well, this is one of the 2 numbers that I'm going to show. We're doing 1,500 simulations per crop per model, or up to, that's the Ivy League participation tier. But that will be a basis that allows for a decent development of emulators. We don't know if it works, but if it doesn't work with that basis, it probably won't ever work. Then we also have a few loose ends, like the 2nd tier crops. So beyond the big 4, we have several models that can do more than that, but we don't really do a comparison on that because the coverage of these crops across the models is pretty small. There's a discussion about the sensitivity to radiation. And of course, the issue of soils is not really being addressed. Again, challenges: do we manage to do these emulators, loose ends? And do we actually really manage to come from a big set of simulations to improvements of models, which is the ultimate goal of that activity? Okay, phase 3 again will be about future projections, and it will be probably again aligned with AgMIP 3, although I'm not sure what the plans are there for timelines, but ideally that would be harmonized in a way. It will also include a few scenarios provided by GeoMIP on geoengineering and similar large-scale perturbations. Well, the established linkages will be there, but we definitely want to have a link to regional studies where we have either much better reference data or driving data at the regional scale, or where we have models that are specific to that region that cover processes or management systems that are not included in the global models in order to understand the importance of these data and processes. Again, we will be needing data as an input. We hope to establish this link that the global economists are not just only our customers, but also our data providers with the RAPs that they develop currently. Of course, we hope that together with the point models, we do other improvements to the models that we can also employ then at the global scale. Sorry. And of course, providing impacts and feedbacks to the different studies, and again, public data archives is the ultimate goal. Lots of challenges here. Consistency between global and regional assessments, consistency with the assumptions made in economic models and in biophysical models, appropriate drivers data, and the transfer of improvements from point-based to global gridded crop models. Okay, this is where Joshua came up with this idea to kind of envision our future plans. So basically, you squeeze a lot of information out of the global scale with the help of a computer mouse, and then AgGrid, which is basically the framing activity of GGCMI, so all gridded crop model activity with an AgMIP, and then that has an umbrella that kind of diverts all that information to the different projects, of which only a few are shown here. And of course, the idea is to not just simply send global data to the different projects, but also to supplement this with activity-specific gridded crop model activity. And of course, well, we need to have input in order to supply all this information further down, so the point crop models, regional data, regional expertise, regional management systems, weather data, reference data, and many more. So that's what we will be needing. And those who don't like pictures, so here's the summary in written form. This is what we offer and what we need. Well, you can read it later on. I skip over it. And well, please come and join, no matter if you are doing global estimates or if you do regional gridded simulations. This picture is to highlight one benefit that Cynthia didn't mention yesterday. We try hard to have fun doing the work. Exactly. Thanks.
Thanks, Christoph. Okay.
Is
a few questions here.
It looks busy, but great. Lots of great stuff. Does the timing work out for this coordinated global regional participation in this global regional project? Because it looks like there's 1,500 simulations per crop per model to do first, and then phase 3 comes, and that seems...
Those are all underway.
risky.
So in terms of timeline, we expect to have completed phase 2 simulations in the spring and be in the analysis phase, and then have prepared protocols for phase 3 in sort of late 2016 and be fully simulating by 2017. So I think in theory, if we put some effort into it, it should align quite well.
Yeah, well, we definitely should make sure that we put effort into it. The bottleneck is not getting the simulations done, but the bottleneck is always doing the analysis with it. And in order to have this improvement step here, we need to have analysis conducted. So you're quite right, will this really work out? But certainly this regional study thing can already start, and actually we have started discussing the European scale with you and with the European Joint Research Center, and we've discussed with South American groups. So in theory, that could already start independent of phase 3.
Just a
That
quick
was for John and
just quick clarification. Could you say a few words about the emulator idea? How that would
Yeah, I have that as well.
Well,
Is it? Can you do it short?
yeah, I can do it short because basically what we plan to do is CTWNA, so CO2, temperature, water, nitrogen, and adaptation. So we have basically 5 dimensions where we do distinct disturbances, and from that we hope to. But if we can't produce an emulator from that data set, we can't, I think.
The emulator may just be a lookup table with a simple interpolation function.
And for what do you need that? As in,
For what
will
do
you
you need
use
it?
this as an input then? To
The idea is to improve the fidelity of the coupling to the econ model.
Okay.
So for the models
Yeah.
that can accept, for
Yeah.
example, curves of the
Yeah, yeah.
along nitrogen, that can actually
Response
optimize
curves.
along that curve,
Yeah.
then response curves, emulators.
Well, I would ask, that wasn't this in my question, but whether you're going to use the point models or the gridded in order to create the emulator. But my question was, how much interaction are you having with the different point-based modeling groups so that you can get the improvements in the gridded models? I know we're working with the DSAT.
Yeah, that's a good point, but we do share a few models, so I think we have at least 2 that are in AgMIP maize, and we have at least 3 that are in AgMIP wheat. Between the 2 groups, so in theory they should kind of profit from the improvements made in these point-based assessments and activities. We have closer links to AgMIP wheat because Central started basically this activity of comparing, but yeah, that can definitely be improved and intensified. But we have to do that. Huh? And document it.
Stages that we're pursuing. We need to refine what those stages are. The first one is just comparing the point-based and the gridded and saying, do these make sense? Are there any obvious irregularities that need to be addressed? And then the second stage is thinking about, okay, how do we actually improve models based on this assessment? So how do we integrate?
And even the improvements, they don't translate one-to-one. If you have a good crop model on a point, doesn't mean that it should be implemented in the same way for grid application with all the heterogeneity. Anyway, that's a different discussion. Thanks, Christoph.